Welcome to Rainbow's annual memorial program. Today we are honoring those who we loved and lost. My name is Laura Wessels, and my colleague Hillary Furnish and I are so glad that you're here today to remember the one that you loved and lost, and also to honor your grief the way that you're remembering their life through your life. Jane's Bald is found in the Appalachian Mountains. And if you're like me, you have no idea what a bald is. It's an exposed part of a mountain, a part of the mountain where there's no trees growing to catch the wind, but it's mainly covered by grasses or shrubs. Jane's Bald tells the story of sisters who lived on either side of these Appalachian Mountains. Jane's sister Harriet and Jane lived on one side, and their sisters lived on the other side in Tennessee. Harriet had been sick with something called milk poisoning. She'd been very sick, but she'd recovered, and she felt strong enough to make the journey across the mountain to visit her sisters on the other side. So Jane decided to accompany her sister, and they trekked across the mountain to visit their sisters on the other side. It was a wonderful visit and really quite uneventful, exactly as they had imagined. But it was time to go home, and as they returned home, as it's apt to do in the mountains, the weather changed in an instant, from warm and sunny to cold and cloudy. And as they approached this bald, not only had the weather changed, but all of a sudden, Harriet's sickness had returned. She was so weak, and she was so tired, and there was no way they could finish this journey on this night. So they decided to shelter in place on top of the bald. Hunkered down, Jane hovered over her sister to protect her from the worst of the wind, and also watching out for bears and bobcats on the mountains. Jane watched over her sister all night long, and then at first light, she raced down the mountain to find someone to help. And the first neighbor she found brought their wagon up to the mountain and brought Harriet, very, very weak, but still alive, down the mountain. Harriet was alive when she returned home, but she died soon after. Jane went on to live a very long life. And of course, she carried with her those memories of being on the bald with her sister, protecting her on that cold night. The locals took to calling that portion of the mountain Jane's Bald, in honor of what Jane did that night, of her gritty determination in keeping her sister safe through that long, dark, cold night. In honor of Jane's pain, in honor of Jane's loss. The story of Jane's Bald, it's a story of two sisters and a mountain. Interesting though, the mountain isn't named for the one who died. It's named for the one who lived and the one who grieved. That's why we're here today. We're here to honor you, the one who grieves, along with the one that you have lost. We remember them with your stories and your souvenirs and your pictures, and we honor you, the one who carries on living and the one who grieves for them.
Decoration Day is a tradition in the South, particularly Appalachia, when cemeteries are annually cleaned and adorned with flowers. The Saturday before Decoration Day would be spent cleaning all the graves in the cemetery. Then on Sunday, the actual decoration would take place. The cemetery would be filled with music, singing, laughter, crying, food, and storytelling. They would have a religious service and then decorate graves with flowers. Decoration Day traditions emphasize the ongoing role the dead play in our lives. Many people will take time to talk to the dead. People will weep aloud and report to their dead loved one all the important events that have transpired since their passing. births, marriages, hardships, employment lost or found, natural disaster, hunger, or plenty. We tell the stories of our loved ones, and we tell our own stories. We recognize the impact the loss has had on us and the way we have journeyed forward. Standing over the bodily remains of our lost loved ones, we commemorate what remains above, the love we continue to share for them and for one another, the character they shaped, the lives they helped build, the way the human spirit triumphs over tragedy.
I recently spoke with a son who is preparing to honor the 1-year mark of his mom's death. He said to me, "The hard parts are over, and now I'm really focused on remembering my mom." And he told me about her. He told me how she was a single mom, and she drove to every one of his and his brother's sporting events. No matter where they were in the state, she was there. And he said that she waited for them to graduate from college before she focused on her own life and remarried. And he talked about her really hot car that she drove everywhere. You know, I never met his mom, but his stories painted her back to life. A woman who was passionate about her boys and loved her sporty red car. That's what we're inviting you to do, to tell the story of your loved one. Paint them back to life.
Today we have taken time to talk about what it means to be the one left to remember. We heard the story about Jane and how she was left to remember her sister and the incredible mountain that has been named after her in honor of that memory. We've heard stories about Decoration Day, of taking time to go to the cemetery, to dust off headstones, to honor loved ones' memories, to leave trinkets and objects and share stories, and about how just telling the story about someone's mother brings that mother to life to people who had never met her before. Memories are powerful, and as those left behind to remember, we have this longing in us to connect to those memories and to share those memories. And today you may have heard about these rituals and think, well, I don't have a place to go. In my hand, I have an object. It is a relief from a headstone from a young boy who died in the 1800s in Ohio. His parents carefully picked out this stone, chose the image on it, and it was their special place. And I have a relief of it that I can hold. And what's special about this is I have never been to this place, but I have a part of it with me. And all of you have pieces of those memories, pieces of your loved ones, pieces of places. You might have a jar full of sand from a vacation or a rock that you collected somewhere. You may have a favorite shirt, something that brings life and meaning to you. Find your own space, your own place, your own object, and honor the memory of your loved one in it. Tell their story, bring them back to life, and share them with others that in us and through us they may live on.
Just as Jane's bald was named for Jane, the sister who lived, the sister who grieved, we are the living stones, testifying to the life and to the impact of our loved ones who have died. As we honor ourselves, we honor them. As we close today, may you continue to be a living stone for your loved one, remembering your love for them, honoring their life, the one you will always love.